The first step in installing your Verbatim unit is to choose a mounting location which is not exposed to condensing humidity or temperatures beyond the limits of 20 through 130 degrees Fahrenheit. This location should ideally be within 5 feet of a standard RJ11 phone jack and a grounded 120-volt AC power outlet. An optional NEMA 4X weatherproof outer enclosure is available. This allows the dialer to be mounted outdoors, as long as temperature limits are not violated. It's best to provide at least an overhead shelter to minimize direct precipitation and solar heating effects. An optional heater thermostat is also available for cold or humid environments. The 120-volt AC heater dissipates 75 watts, providing a temperature rise of approximately 30 degrees, or 60 degrees when enclosed in the optional NEMA 4X enclosure. Next, you'll need to perform the wiring required to install your unit. Open the outer door and inspect and remove any foreign materials which might create short circuits. A standard RJ11 telephone cord is provided with the unit. Simply plug this cord into a standard RJ11 modular wall jack, and your telephone connection is complete. Connect the red, that's the positive battery lead, to the positive terminal on the gel cell battery. Plug the power cord into a grounded 120-volt AC outlet. Or remove the power cord from the dialer and install a well-grounded 120-volt AC power to terminal strip TS3, located on the lower right of the main circuit board. If there are any green grounding wires in place on TS3 originating from plug-in expansion cards, leave those green grounding wires in place on the terminal marked green. If the dialer turns on when power is applied, turn it off with the red on-off button. Connect dry, unpowered contacts to the terminal strip connection points. The connection point for the basic 4-channel units is terminal strip TS1, located on the lower left of the main circuit board. Note, there are 4 common return terminals marked C. Any combination of these internally grounded terminals may be used. TS1 is unpluggable for convenience. The contact input wires should ideally be 18 to 22 gauge signal wire rather than heavy power wire. This reduces problems of bulk and stiffness. Units with 8 or more digital inputs have an optional VX32 channel expansion card plugged into connector J4. If your unit has this card installed, then use TS1 for common return connections only, and connect one side of each contact to the appropriately marked channel input number on the VX32 card. Leave TS1 terminals 1, 2, 3, and 4 unconnected. Note that the common return side of the contacts will need to be consolidated into not more than 4 wires coming into the TS1 terminals marked C. Route the wires from the VX32 card so that they do not protrude above the top of the card. Otherwise, it'll interfere with the front panel board when the door is closed. In all cases, be sure that the contact inputs are dry and do not provide power of their own, or the dialer will be damaged. If your inputs are coming from a logic controller with TTL, CMOS, or 5-volt DC logic outputs, direct connection may be made as long as the controller has the same electrical ground as the dialer. If higher voltage DC levels exist, use diodes in series with the dialer inputs, with the cathode, that's the banded end, toward the source. In all cases, a low 0 logic level will be interpreted by the dialer as a closed circuit input. If your Verbatim unit is equipped with the optional analog input board, refer to your manual's wiring diagram for connection instructions of analog inputs. Be sure you follow the positive and negative polarity indications. Note, the 2 signal wires are required for each input. The analog inputs are very flexible and can accommodate a variety of programmable input signal types. In addition to programming the input signal type, the physical component configurations on the VAN plug-in circuit card must match the signal type used. Normally, this will have been handled in the process of ordering the unit and will not require additional user attention. If there is any doubt about this, refer to the markings on the rear of the VAN circuit board. The Verbatim Remote Supervisory Control, or VRSC option, allows you to turn connected equipment on and off from any remote touch-tone telephone, or from a non-touch-tone telephone with the use of a portable tone generator. Connections are normally made by means of optically isolated solid-state relays housed in a separate output relay enclosure, which requires its own 120-volt AC power connection. In some situations, the user may choose to make connections directly to the logic level outputs within the main unit. If you're using the separate output relay enclosure normally supplied with this option, mount the enclosure within 3 feet of the Verbatim autodialer and make your output connections to the left-hand roll of terminal strip points within the separate enclosure, as shown in the diagram of the VRSC output relay enclosure. Be sure the correct type of plug-in Opto22 relays are in place. Now, connect 120-volt AC power. Next, route modular cable A through one of the entrance holes in the bottom of the autodialer and plug it into J301, the right-hand jack on the VCP circuit card. The 8-output VRSC 8 option also includes a second modular cable B. Connect this to the adjacent jack J302 on the VCP circuit card. The outputs on the VCP circuit card are NPN transistor open collectors capable of switching up to 12 volts DC at up to 500 milliamps, and thus these outputs may in some cases be connected directly to logic inputs of logic controllers, although external pull-up resistors may be required. Consult RACO for details.